So I was going to bolt up the fender over here, and underneath there was a couple of bolts here that were stuck. So anyway, there's a bolt right there, and somewhere over here, right there. And both of those snapped off because they were rusty. So now the plan is drill them out, and I'm going to tap them to the next size up. These are M6, so I guess I'm going to go to M7 or M8. I think I'm going to have to do M8 because I don't think there'll be enough metal there for the threads for M7. So anyway, that's what we're doing today, drilling those out. Now that I've got one of these drilled out, I'm going to go ahead and try and tap it. I've got my little Harbor Freight tap set here, and we're going to try and tap it. M7 ended up being like by the time I cut out all the old threads, had the hole big enough that all the old threads were gone. M7 just didn't have enough to bite into. The hole was just too big to have enough room for the threads. So anyway, going with M8. So we're going to try this. It just starts to bite in there as you turn it, so that should be what I want. And if that works out, we'll move over to this one here and do that one next. So I'm just going to use I just have some oil. I'm going to throw this oil on the tap, and can go ahead and cut it. We're going to try and do it upside down. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but we'll get it done. So I went over to the other side to check because I didn't think anything broke on the other side, but I was wrong. So this front one broke. You should be able to still see the stud in there. I hope it's bright enough down there. I didn't bring the flashlight on this side. So anyway, that one broke, and this one was not broken, but since I'm tapping the rest of them to the M8, I figured I should make that one match. So I drilled that one out and about to tap it, but I have to drill this one out, which is a huge pain, but it is what it is. It broke, so nothing I can do. Finished tapping up this first one. Worked pretty easy. Wasn't too bad. Don't really know if you'll be able to see in there, but doesn't really matter. I'm sure everyone's seen threads before. Not a big deal. But so now that one is tapped for M8 by 1 threads, and then now I just have to drill this one out here and do the same thing. So anyway, the first one went pretty easy. Second one hopefully will go just as easy. And when that's done, I'm going to go get some hardware and bolt up all these fenders and stuff. It was hitting the door, but I think it's because the bottom wasn't bolted up and it wasn't holding it upright, so it was like sagging. And when you'd open the door, it would clip the inside corner. So anyway, yeah. So I'm just going to finish up tapping that and go ahead and get some hardware for it. So I took a break real quick from doing the fenders and stuff. I had to go to Ace Hardware and get the bolts and washers and stuff for it. So anyway, while I was there, I picked up a T with some fittings here to test what PSI this opens at. I was shooting for about 5 PSI, and I actually hit it right on the head. It's going to be real tough to do here with only 2 hands, but let me see if I can maybe show you, because this gauge here, you have to hold it in. It's like a bike tire gauge or whatever. But anyway, so let's see if we can do this. Okay, and it locks it'll lock the pressure that's in there. So the arm maxed out at like 5.5 psi or 6 psi, something like that. It starts to move really early. It starts to move at about 2 psi or so, which is a little lower than I wanted, but you know, what can you do? So anyway, it looks like about 6 psi, 5 or 6 psi is what we ended up with, which is perfect. That means I can run a boost controller and get it up to 7, 8, 9, 10 psi. I wouldn't. I've read that you shouldn't go more than double whatever the wastegate actuator's set at, because it won't hold the boost, I guess. And I'm not really sure why that is, but I have a feeling it's something to do with the actual exhaust outlet in the turbine housing. It probably just pushes against the against the actuator arm and actually pulls it open instead of the boost pressure in the line pushing it open. So anyway, whatever. So we're at 6 psi, which means I can probably run up to 12 psi and get away with it. But anyway, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was shooting for. So anyways, now I'm going to bolt up these fenders and show you what that looks like when it's all done. So I didn't finish, I didn't film any of the bolting up the fenders or anything like that, because it's literally just putting screws in holes. There's nothing special about it. But anyway, so there's a screw behind the door here. There's one in the middle that I didn't attach. I just don't really care about that one. It doesn't, I mean, this doesn't flex at all, so it doesn't really matter. 1, 2, 3 more up here, and then I just zip tied the bumper and stuff together for now. End up putting the headlights on, the headlight covers on, and anyway, finishing everything up. And it's awesome. She's starting to look like a real car now. Looks pretty good. I actually really like it a lot. I like the dual light setup in the front, and the no turn signals look really interesting. So I dig that. But anyway, so that's pretty much that. I bolted up when I bolted up the bottom, it kind of brought the fender up a little bit, and I had to bend it out just a little bit because this door used to catch on this lip here. I said that I think in the beginning when I started on this today. So anyway, the door used to catch there, but once I bent it a little bit, the door clears perfectly and doesn't catch the fender at all, which is awesome. The other side didn't catch, I don't think. Never had a problem with fitment on this side. Everything lines up real nice. Panel gaps are pretty decent. I could probably bring this in a little bit more and bring it out a little bit more out here. But anyway, everything fits up decent. Fenders are solid. They don't rattle around or anything. And yeah, this door is good too. It gets real close right there, but doesn't catch, so we should be good. And yeah, I don't know, it's turning out pretty nice. I'm almost done with the wiring. As far as wiring, all I have to do is hook some stuff up. I gotta put some switches on and stuff, and then wrap everything in wiring loom. Real quick, I can bring you in and show you what we have left. So the windows work. They're slow, like really slow, but so that one works. That one works as well. So we got the switch for that hooked up. I just have to mount it. I have everything labeled here. So we've got the high beams and low beams headlights. Over here I have the turn signal box with the wires coming from that somewhere right here for the turn signals. So anyway, yeah, so real quick, let me set you up on the top of the car here, and I'll turn on the headlights so you can kind of get an idea. So this will be low beams, I believe. Yep, so that's the low beams, and they're not aimed or anything, but I just have them kind of pointed as close to straight as I could get them. So that's low beams. And then high beams have 3 settings. I believe that's high there, and again, those are going to get aimed out towards the sides, so I can see down the sides of the roads instead of straight ahead of me. So I'll probably end up turning both of them on at once. But anyway, I think that's high beam. Then we have low beam. There we go. Strobe. All right, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, they've got they've got 3 settings. So it's high, low, strobe. So there's low. I don't know why it's screwing up, but whatever. It's either way. So low, I think. Whatever. Either way. So that's what we're looking at with that. I'll have to see what's going on with those lights and why one of them, when they have a memory, so when you shut it off, it just goes into the next mode, and somehow they got off. So one's on high and one's on strobe and one's on low and one's on high. So anyway, whatever. But anyway, so I just have to put switches on the end of all these, clean up the rest of this wiring, and then throw everything in some wiring loom, tape it up, and we're good to go. So anyway, we're in the home stretch. We're almost done. I just have to, like I said, get wiring done, throw the ECU back in its place, maybe make a little box for that so people don't kick it or whatever if they're sitting in the passenger seat. And then really just clean the car a little bit. I mean, it's super dusty from sitting in the garage, and there's pollen all over it because pine pollen in Florida is just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, and I mean, once that's over, I think we're pretty much done with this car. So we're just, just taking care of the little stuff and, getting it done. So anyways, that's kind of a quick update as it sits. So yeah, I mean, whatever. I'll have another video out probably tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night. I stopped being lazy, and I've started to do these videos real time. So it's Monday, and I should be uploading on Monday night. So I should have one up tomorrow, being Tuesday, and hopefully we'll have this car done within 2 weeks. But yeah, so we're almost there. Anyway, see you later.